Hi everyone! Welcome to the July garden tour. What a month it's been. We've been pulling in the harvest like crazy. That has been a ton of fun. And we're also planting a fresh new wave of veggies. We're going to show you all that tonight on the tour. And we're also doing a mid-season boost, feeding those veggies to get them pumping again so the harvests don't quit coming in. So we're going to start here at the container garden. And I got to show you guys first off my jalapeno pepper. I did a mid-season boost like I showed you guys on the video this week. Fertilized it really well and harvested everything, and there is fresh, brand new growth. Now I did this probably a month ago, so you guys get in there this weekend, feed your plants, follow the mid-season boost video for all the information, and you are going to have fresh new growth and new peppers and new plants, new veggies coming on soon. So you definitely don't want to miss that. Now in this long fabric raised bed here, the long fabric smart pots, on our late summer garden video, we planted a fresh new crop of beans. And here they are, guys. They are growing like crazy. These are the dwarf Taylor summer beans from the late summer garden seed collection. So go back and watch that video on what to plant in July. Get some beans planted. It's not too late. You're going to be so glad you did in about 6 weeks or so.
Wow, those look fantastic.
Aren't they great?
Yes.
And there's some new little flowers coming on here, so it means the beans aren't far away. So very excited about that. This is my second wave of beans. And I also am planting a whole second wave of cucumbers. And there's one little plant that I popped in right behind here. I pulled out one that wasn't doing so well, popped this one in, and how much it's grown in just a couple of weeks is crazy. So in August, we're gonna have a fresh new wave of cucumbers after our current crop is dying out. So that's going to be a ton of fun. Now I'm also planting a new wave of tomatoes, trying to plant smaller varieties that will mature in about 60 days or so we can get a good crop in before the cooler weather hits. So I've got I believe this is a chocolate sprinkles tomato right here. I've got a whole new wave of tiny Tims that I'm putting in. So make sure that you plant a fresh new wave of veggies so you're going to have those harvests keep on coming. Right here we've got a Black Beauty eggplant, just starting to put on flowers. I planted this one a little bit late, so we're looking forward to tons of Black Beauty eggplant for eggplant parmesan, probably in about a month or so. And I got to show you guys, remember on the what to plant in July video, I planted my new little cucumber seedlings here. The growth, Jerry, can you believe this was only about 2 weeks ago?
That's incredible.
They are growing like crazy. I've been feeding them. I believe I boosted them with the Good Dirt plant food, put some fresh new compost in. These are Space Master cucumbers from the late summer garden seed collection, growing in a 5-gallon CaliKim Smart Pot. Perfect space here on the little kitchen garden. We'll be able to pop out here and pick some fresh cucumbers within probably maybe a month. Now here's a pepper. California Wonder, one of my very favorites, and these are going to be ripening up probably within the next week. So camera guy, you ready to do some more grilling again?
Yes.
These are going to be going on the grill before you know it. This one was planted, I want to say 6 weeks or so ago, maybe a month, on the how to grow cucumbers in a 5-gallon container, and it's just going crazy. I'm serious. Every couple of days I've been tying it up some more. And we've got tons of flowers, little baby cucumbers. It just looks so healthy. This is the Space Mister cucumber again. Nice compact variety, perfect for a container. So if you're growing a container garden, you definitely want to grab my container garden seed collection. Compact vegetables, which are perfect for a container garden. And I am running a sale this weekend, 20% off with the code LATESUMMER over at CaliKimGardenHome.com. So it's not too late to plant. So get your seeds planted this weekend. Here we have my Golden Jubilee tomato. Now we have been harvesting off this several tomatoes. It did get bit by some spider mites, some heat damage, but no worries. I did the mid-season boost on it this week. Fed it, put some granular fertilizer down in here, fed it some fish fertilizer, and I'm expecting to see some fresh, brand new growth coming this week. We'll definitely be getting some more tomatoes off this plant. Now I got to show you guys here, these are my new wave of tiny Tims. One of my new waves anyway. If you watched the what to plant in July video, I had a whole little seedling tray of tiny Tims, and I just transplanted them into this 5-gallon smart pots. You notice in here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little seedlings. And what I'm going to do is just get these up to size a little bit more and then transplant each of them individually, either in the 5-gallon smart pots or somewhere out in the garden. So we'll definitely keep that fresh wave of tomatoes coming as long as we possibly can. Now, leaving the container garden here, I want to step over something exciting to show you guys. Remember our Can This Lemon Tree Be Saved videos?
Oh yeah.
The lemon trees are doing fabulous. I'm so excited about all the new growth on these trees. Jerry, is this exciting?
They do look healthy.
They look healthier. Maybe a few little buggy types of situations right here or crinkled leaves. But all this bright green new growth is so exciting. And Jerry, you haven't even seen this yet. Look at the top of the tree. Remember how we showed these on the video and they were teeny, teeny, tiny?
Let me get
you guys, you got to see this. This is so exciting. Camera guy's looking forward to lemonade. All right, camera guy, the lemons are growing. I'm just thrilled with how these plants are doing. So taking them out of those old falling apart wine barrels and putting them in the 30-gallon smart pots really did the trick. Fresh new soil, fresh new fertilizer. These things are taking off. Welcome to my outdoor seed starting station. When you're starting seeds this time of the year, especially for those quick growing vegetables like cucumbers, squash, beans, got some chard, some basil, my tiny Tims in here, just start them outside. You don't even have to start them under grow lights. It's warm enough right now. They germinate within maybe 3 to 5 days, and then you can pull from this group of vegetables, plant them outside as you pull old plants out. So head back and watch the It's Not Too Late to Plant in July video. You'll have all the information on that. And these are all from my late summer garden seed collection. So let's head on down the hill. One thing that's been growing like crazy this month is the Scarlet runner beans. And for the first year this time, I planted them right here at the entrance to the garden. And I'm telling you guys, they have been so loaded down with beans that this little arch is actually falling over. It's one of my projects for the weekend is to shore this up. I don't know, Jerry, maybe we'll have to put a piece of rebar in the trellis. This is the ladder mesh arch, but it's actually kind of getting a little bit hard to walk under it because it's falling over and the vines are like hitting my face as I go down. Yeah. But it's so much fun to have tons and tons of beans. One thing too that I'm absolutely loving right now is the herb garden. I love having the herbs so close to the house because I just pop out here several times a day, pick some herbs. We did a basil video out here this week where I showed you guys how to grow basil by propagating and by planting new seeds. The basil's going crazy. I'm just in love with this stuff, but it is getting eaten by some bugs. So I need to get out here and spray or just do some kind of bug control. But the basil's growing like crazy. One thing I'm so surprised at is the parsley and cilantro has held on for the summer. Usually it bolts, but I think it gets a lot of shade in here. Really likes this spot. I'm loving the Thai basil. It's just this licoricey kind of flavor. It's amazing. The oregano I've let go to seed for the pollinators. And would you guys look at the growth on the rosemary, the thyme. Just smells so good. I love just running my fingers over these herbs. Oh, it smells so good. And the purple basil, look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? So let me know what herbs you have growing and if you planted a kitchen herb garden along with me this summer. I want to show you the vertical squash. Remember the video we did on how to grow squash vertically? We have been pulling zucchini out of here like crazy. When we came home, we had a couple giant ones here, and it's just working out really well. What I've been doing is just trimming all the bottom leaves off. You can see all these little nodes here where I've cut the leaves off right next to the stem. Make sure you get right next to the stem when you cut them off because the branches are hollow, but next to the stem they're solid, and that way no disease, no bugs can get in. So trimming it off and training the zucchini up the tomato cage, and look how much less space it's taking up. I'll show you one that's sprawling in just a moment, but you can cram the plants in a lot tighter when you grow vertically. So we've got this zucchini here. This tomato right here is really not taking off. It's getting tons of shade from the sunflowers and also from the zucchini plant. So I just gave this one a little boost today with some good dirt plant food and some granular fertilizer, hoping that it takes off. So I would love to get some additional harvest out of this plant. Speaking of sunflowers, welcome to my sunflower forest. We've been loving the sunflowers this year. The bees, the hummingbirds, the pollinators love them. And it's really fun to see the birds kind of pecking away, dropping the seeds down below, which means more volunteers will be coming up next year.
Yeah, we've really enjoyed just sitting and just watching the hummingbirds on the sun. It's been really fun.
It's been so much fun. And they are kind of shading out the tomatoes in the towers underneath. Less tomatoes for us, but that's okay. We're enjoying them so much. And it's gonna be fun to see where all the little sunflowers pop up again next year from the birds dropping the seeds. So here is my tomato arch, and I'm hoping by next month these tomato plants will meet in the middle. So hopefully we can show you that on the August garden tour. These are the large red cherry tomatoes from the tomato seed collection. They're doing absolutely beautifully, starting to ripen up. We've already been able to harvest a few ripe tomatoes off them. Let me just pick one and show you guys. These are the prettiest little cherry tomato. They're actually a larger size cherry than normal, but absolutely beautiful. And the plant is starting to low down. These just got a new boost this week. Fed them, watered them really well. By next month, they're gonna be at the top. Now in this next garden bed here, I want to show you the growth of the kale and chard. Remember we did a video on prune your kale and chard, don't pull it out. Well, let me show you right here some brand new growth. I think that was probably maybe 2 weeks ago that I trimmed this huge chard tree, basically, fertilized it, pruned it back, and look you guys, brand new chard leaves. So if you have some chard and kale that's not looking so good, kind of past its prime, don't pull it out, prune it off, and you're gonna have chard for the fall and possibly even into the winter. Now this is the location of my summer salad station, and unfortunately we've had some bunnies coming in, nibbling away fresh new kale shoots that have been coming up. I do have a little bit of the New Zealand spinach coming up right here. These are all from my heat tolerant green seed collection. So it's not too late to grow greens. You just have to grow the right type of green that really enjoy the summer heat. We've got some gorgeous red Russian kale coming up here. The bunnies didn't quite get to that. Down in here, you guys, we pruned this kale plant a couple of weeks ago. Go back and check that video out. We cut it way back, and here's some fresh kale growing out of this stalk. One of our favorite things about the summer garden is the cucumbers. It's so hard to find a good cucumber in the grocery store during the winter, and I love growing my own in the summer. So I've actually been having a cucumber tomato salad for lunch almost every single day. But while we were gone in Maryland, guess what popped up, you guys? The dreaded powdery mildew. So let me know if you're having problems with powdery mildew. We typically get it about this time of the year, usually in July. And what I've been doing to help with powdery mildew this year is spraying preventatively with copper fungicide, and it's really been helping. But eventually it does creep in, but this is a great product for preventative spray. If you can prevent it, that's half the battle. But when it does come in, what I do is go through and prune off all these leaves. So hopefully I'll be doing a video on that this week. And then I do treat it with this Bonides insecticidal super soap. And it does really help to keep it under control. So 2 products that I've used that really work. So I'll leave a link for these in the video description. What I also did right before we left for Maryland is I gave this all my mid-season boost. I pruned it heavily and boosted it with the Good Dirt plant food and some worm castings at the base of the plant here. And there's tons of new growth just in a couple of weeks. So this is all new growth here. I think these cucumbers are gonna outgrow this trellis. I harvested probably 10 or 15 before we left, and look at all the flowers. These were not here when we left, so we're gonna be having a whole new wave of cucumbers probably within a couple of weeks. Oh, I wanna try my hand at making pickles too, so that'll be a lot of fun. Now to talk about a plant that's not doing so well, and I know we all have those in our gardens. This is a cantaloupe plant, and unfortunately, it's gotten taken over by powdery mildew. I've pruned it, I've sprayed it, but powdery mildew comes in, and when it does, it comes in like a vengeance, and it happened while we were away. So this plant's gonna be pulled out, and I am gonna plant maybe a tomato plant right here, maybe another cantaloupe, I don't know, we'll have to see. But you guys, don't feel bad if things happen, you have to pull things out. So hopefully you guys are hanging in there with your issues too. One type of cucumber I'm growing for the first time this year, and we're absolutely loving them, are these long, thin Japanese cucumbers. These are crazy long, probably at least 1.5 feet long. They don't get bitter. Even when I leave them on the vine for a very long time, they're delicious. They're a little bit spiny, but if you kind of wash them off or peel them, they're absolutely delicious for fresh eating. And these are growing like crazy. I've probably already harvested maybe 10 or 15 from this area. This plant was heavily pruned before we left it for out of town. Fertilized it, and it should be growing a lot more fresh new growth soon. Now down in here, these cucumbers have gotten way oversized. These were teeny tiny when we left for a week, and they just need to come off right now. Once they get yellow like that, they're usually kind of bitter. So these are maybe far too gone, but what you can do if they're bitter, cut the ends off. A lot of times in the middle, it's still sweet, or you can rub the ends together, cut it off, rub it together with the center part, and sometimes that takes away the bitterness. So if you have any other tricks as far as cucumber bitterness goes, definitely let me know. Now in here, these plants are doing beautifully. We planted these maybe 2 weeks ago on the What to Plant in July video. These are the Scallop Squash from my late summer garden seed collection, really growing nicely. So we're looking forward to some late summer harvest of some white, and I think we put some yellow Scallop Squash in here. And look at the little zucchini over here. These are so cute. I just love those. Those are going to be delicious on the grill as well. We tend to grill most of our vegetables. We probably grill 3 or 4 nights a week. So come on over here. I want to show you a sprawling zucchini. You can see how much different it is from the zucchini that I'm growing vertically. And I've been trimming this powdery mildew stuff here as well, but we got to get in here this week and spray with the insecticidal super soap. You guys, look at this giant zucchini. This one definitely got away from me while we were gone. I'm going to go ahead and pick it. Now when they get to be this big, this one's like a baseball bat. When they get to be this big, the seeds get quite large. I actually don't mind them at all when they're big like this. What I like to do with these ones, oh my gosh, look at this whopper, is slice them up and use them for zucchini lasagna. So all you have to do is substitute sliced zucchini for the noodles, and it is so, so delicious. But look how much more space this sprawling plant takes up. So if you don't have enough room to plant a sprawling zucchini like this, plant it vertically in a cage, and you'll be able to see the zucchini before it gets this big. I'm so excited to show you guys the passion fruits. Look, we got 2 right here. And if you follow me over on Instagram, CaliKim29, you saw I posted a picture of the most gorgeous flower you've ever seen. These flowers are tropical, they're beautiful. They're kind of a white and purplish color. You gotta go over and check it out. But these are actually purple passion fruit, and this plant was a gift from our moderator of our live stream, Nisha, and it's growing beautifully on this arch. It's a nice sturdy arch. So I'm hoping that it gets more loaded down with passion fruit as the season goes on. But I'm pretty excited to have 2 of them, and I thought you guys would like to see that. This tomato plant on here has some mighty nice looking tomatoes. This is one of my favorites, Kellogg's Breakfast. Look at the size of these 2 at the bottom. You guys see that? Beautiful.
They are.
These are a beautiful orange slicing tomato, very similar to the Golden Jubilee that I have in many of my seed collections. Wow. These ones are giant. So we did a little mid-season boost of these tomato plants right in here. When we got back from our trip to Maryland, there's a lot of yellowing of the leaves. You guys might have seen that video this weekend. This is the plant I boosted up on that. So there's tons of apple yellow tomatoes in here. A lot of them are starting to ripen up, even in the past couple days since I did the boost. So you definitely want to do the boost on your plants. Now let's take a look over here at the Smart Pots deck in the fabric urban raised bed. The Smart Pots 2x4 right here. Having a couple issues here, guys, with either bunnies or chipmunks. Yep. So we planted these beautiful, they were beautiful, white scallop squash about a month ago on the What to Plant in July video, and they are just getting chowed down here. So what I've been doing for the bunnies and the squirrels is I've been spraying the repels all and sprinkling the granules. But I do have to do it maybe every couple of weeks. And what that does is kind of helps them go somewhere else. They don't like the smell of it. It's garlic and clove. But got to do it again this weekend, I think, because they're just chowing down on my squash. I think I have 1 good plant left here, maybe 2. But these are Scallop Squash, and they're gonna spill over the edge. I like to plant thrillers, fillers, and spillers in containers. These are the spillers in the front. The fillers are in the middle. We've got a California Wonder Pepper and a couple of eggplants in here. And then up the back, we will be planting a new wave of cucumbers. These ones are getting a little spider mighty. So that fresh new wave will go in along the back and then provide me with some fresh new harvests fall into the winter months here in California because it's still warm. Let's head around to the back. I've got to show you some beautiful flowers. So on last month's garden tour, I mentioned that I was planting a ton of zinnias for the pollinators. I cannot believe these gorgeous zinnias. Look at this.
Wow.
This is called the, what's the name of it? I can't think of the name. It starts with an A, but it's a beautiful zinnia. Look at that color.
I didn't even see that.
So I got a couple of those blooming here. And then these candy cane zinnias are just adorable. Wow. I love the little striping. And these bring in the butterflies and the pollinators like crazy. And I do have a fresh new wave of zinnias going up on my outdoor planting shelf that will be going in this week, hopefully. You guys, well, I got to show you this. You know, we got to keep it real here. This has been pretty neglected. You can see I've still got peas in here. This is crazy. I have not gotten in here for so long. So this all needs to come out.
I'm not going in there.
I know, it's kind of a jungle in there. But I'm going to be planting a fresh new wave of beans probably. The scarlet runner beans are kind of reaching their end. On the front there, they're getting very dried out. And I actually got some new seeds from Gary for the yard-long beans. So I'll probably plant those in there. But also, look at these dried out scarlet runners.
Hang on.
Beans are such a great crop to plant now in July because they go from seed to harvest in about 6 to 8 weeks. These ones are dry, and all I have to do is just pop them open and I'll have new bean seeds to plant. So out with the old and in with the new. We're filming this garden tour in the evening. It's about 6 o'clock. Evening is one of my favorite times in the garden. The light is beautiful. The sun is just kind of glistening off some of the plants and the flowers. I absolutely love it. So what's your favorite time in the garden?
This is mine too.
I want to show you guys my all-time favorite tomato plant in the garden right now. This is the one plant, maybe one of the plants in the garden that gets full sun. It is doing beautifully. I just absolutely love these tomatoes. This is the green zebra tomato. And no, it's actually the Aunt Ruby's German green tomato. It's from my tomato seed collection. These tomatoes are absolutely massive and I cannot wait to harvest them. But what I've been having to do is put these net bags on them to protect them from the rats. We've actually had quite a few rat issues. Sometimes they're even getting through the net bags, but we're doing our best. There's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 large tomatoes. Yeah. And I'm sure there'll be more coming on at the top. This plant is probably, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 feet tall here.
Easily.
It's crazy. And what I've been doing is shaking the cage because that moves the pollen around in the flowers and really helps produce more tomatoes. So give that a try and let me know how it works for you. This just got a feeding this week too. I put some new granular fertilizer at the bottom and some compost. We're gonna have a ton of tomatoes off this plant. I cannot wait to taste them. I'm so excited about this eggplant, you guys. This is the Lista Gigantea eggplant from my eggplant seed collection. Is that not just a gorgeous eggplant?
Yeah.
Purple and white striped, so beautiful. This is going to be ready to harvest probably within the next couple of days. So if you're growing with my eggplant seed collection, this one's in it. Let me know how yours are doing as well. Now next to it, there's a pepper. This is my first year growing these peppers. And this is called the Cuadro De Gallo. This is a Baker Creek seed pepper. And let me just show you these leaves here, you guys. This is like a variegated leaf. It's absolutely beautiful. And little teeny tiny purple peppers coming on. And I believe this is a sweet pepper. Yes, it's a sweet pepper. So we should be harvesting some of those this month as well. And next to it here, we've got some of my favorite California Wonders. Beautiful peppers coming on. Reddish one right here. This one needs to size up. I actually gave these some fish fertilizer this week because I didn't think these peppers were quite large enough. So they should be sizing up and growing up within the next few weeks. There have been a few disappointments in the garden lately. One of them, like I mentioned, has been the rats. We really struggle with that this year. And unfortunately, the rats got my big tomato. It was super disappointing. Happened right before we left for Maryland. Came outside here and there was a huge chunk taken out of a tomato that was probably about this big. So that was my tomato for the contest. Well, gave this plant a boost. And it actually accidentally unhooked it from the drip irrigation and forgot about it. So it's kind of struggling a little bit. But we got a few more tomatoes coming on. So we're fingers crossed the rats won't get to these. And I'm very hopeful that this plant will take off and we still might get a giant tomato out of it. So if you're interested in the tomato contest, go over to Gardening Coast to Coast Facebook group for all the info. It's a really fun group to be a part of as well. You're gonna love all the support and encouragement that's there in the Facebook group. Now the sunflower right above me has actually had quite a bit of powdery mildew. I came home to quite a bit of it on this plant, had to trim off a lot of the leaves. So basically the whole garden will be getting sprayed for powdery mildew this week. But what a gorgeous sunflower. Just love these flowers. This was another volunteer as well. Aren't those pretty?
They are pretty.
And I think this is either the Velvet Queen or the Autumn Beauty from the sunflower seed collection. So gorgeous. On this side of the planter, there's some peppers and tomatoes, a lot of new varieties that I tried this year for the first time. And the California Wonders, ready to harvest this week. So that's gonna be a ton of fun. Salsa and more peppers on the grill. This garden bed with the red planters only gets partial sun. So my strategy has been to plant smaller sized tomatoes that don't need as much sun to grow and ripen. So this is the apple yellow tomato. It's a gorgeous little tomato shaped like an apple. And we've already harvested a lot off here. So a lot of new fresh green ones coming on. But what I've done is at the bottom of this plant, I actually popped in this week a brand new tomato plant. I think this is called the Sun Sugar Yellow Tomato. It's also a small cherry tomato, so that when the apple yellow starts to die out, I'll have a brand new plant in here that can take its place. Because in California, we have warm weather into November. I could easily be harvesting cherry tomatoes for several months. So can't wait for that. Now over on this side here, I planted a whole bunch of zinnias and some wildflowers. And they're not quite as large here because it's not in full sun, but that's okay, getting a lot of beautiful blooms. I think this is like the Queenie Lime or something like that. I tried to plant a variety of colors. And back in here we had that beautiful orange one, and I remember the name of it. It's called the Aztec Zinnia. So you can see it's not as big as the one I showed you on the Smart Pots deck, because it's not getting as many hours of sunlight. So zinnias are a flower that you can plant all summer. You still have time to plant some zinnias. So I would grab my Bring on the Pollinators warm season flower collection, which has the California Giants. You're gonna love the late summer blooms of the zinnias. Now also in here I popped in some wildflower seed, and they're starting to grow. But when the zinnias are ready to die off, I'll have some wildflowers that are ready to bloom. So you can also succession plant your flowers so you have continuous blooms into the fall. Speaking of zinnias, I gotta show you guys one of my favorite varieties. This is the Lilliput Zinnia. These are in my late summer garden seed collection. They're such a delicate little flower.
These are my favorites.
They're a dwarf variety, so much smaller of a flower, smaller of a plant. And these are really fun because they're a smaller variety. You can grow them easily in a container or just pop a plant in with another plant. And here I've got some tomatillos and a cucumber plant in this container here. And they're just such a gorgeous variety of zinnia. I love them. So let me know what your favorite variety of zinnia is and if you're gonna plant some more here later in the summer. Now for another thing that's not going so well, and that is this pot of strawberries. I'm not too sure what happened on these, you guys. Came home from Maryland and they looked like this. They have plenty of water, soil's nice and moist. So what I'm gonna do here, not to worry, is strawberries can take a heavy pruning. So I'm gonna come in through here this week, heavily prune all these off and fertilize it, and strawberries will regrow. So if your strawberries are looking like this, don't pull them out. Just cut them off, feed them, and you're gonna have new growth in no time. We're gonna end the garden tour on my favorite crop of the summer garden, the blackberries. Last month I showed you guys these plants were loaded down but not yet ripe. They are starting to ripen. We've been picking a few little handfuls Oh my gosh, there are so many blackberries. This is definitely the bumper crop of all bumper crops. We've never had this many blackberries before. Now, you know that blackberries are ripe. I'm gonna find a ripe one here for you guys. I think this one is ripe. This is humongous. Look at
Hang on. I gotta get that shot.
this berry. Got that shot, Jerry?
There we go.
Let's see if this one is ripe. You want it to be a nice black color and pull easily from the stem. Oh, didn't even pull it, it just fell right off. So for the sweetest berries, wait till they just pull with you barely tugging them.
You gonna eat it?
This one looks delicious.
You eat it,
Yeah.
I say.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let me
to.
get on you. I don't want to miss this.
We actually
Okay.
had our friend Jessie pick some of these while we were gone, and she got to have some beautiful blackberries too. So sweet and so delicious. Jerry, I ought to come out here for breakfast tomorrow. See if we can pick some for our breakfast. Wouldn't that be yummy?
Good.
So we will definitely be bringing you guys along for a blackberry harvest video. Did you guys like that? So let me know what kind of berries you're growing in your garden. Thanks so much for hanging out with me in the garden tonight. It was a ton of fun to walk around with you, show you around the garden this July, and let me know how things are going in your garden. I would love to hear about it, what your favorite crop is, what you're enjoying harvesting this summer. Head over to CaliKimGardenHome.com, check out my seed collections, and don't forget about the sale this weekend, 20% off with the code LATESUMMER. And that includes all the seed collections, the CaliKim Smart Pots, and my book, Organic Gardening for Everyone. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.